Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's Abiba here, and today I'm just dropping a quick one on A-level revision tips and tricks, especially if you want to change your grades. So quick background on myself. As you may or may not know, I actually resat the year. So I resat year 12 and I got some really bad grades. So I got E's and U's, and I drastically changed them into A stars and B's, and I am so proud of myself for making this change. And I just thought I'd give help to anyone out there who is trying to change their grades, be it from a C to a B or from an A to an A star, and just necessary tips and tricks that you can really use to change your grades. So I'm just gonna jump straight into it. The first point that I have is literally getting to know the content of your exam, literally printing out the spec. And I'm so sorry I literally scream about the specification all the time, but the specification is so important. You need the spec. Print out the spec and look at what it contains. The spec is so important. It's what the examiners are saying you should know. So alongside your revision, you need to have the spec with you and literally go through it to see what you need to know, what you don't know, and keywords that the examiners have literally embedded into the spec for students to use and students to know. And personally for me, I literally, after printing out the spec, I took it one extra further step. I looked at examiners' reports as well, and examiners' report literally tells you what students in the previous year didn't do so well. So they literally point out like specific topics, or even in English, they pointed out like specific analysis that weren't in depth enough, and in philosophy, specific evaluations that were necessary that students didn't really embed into the exams. And while I'm picking up on these, I'm just writing them down like, well, I'm not going to make that same mistakes because they have. So literally the spec, examiner's report if you really want to, and also I looked at the teaching guide as well. This was made for teachers, but I looked at it as well because I really wanted to change my grades, and I just had to do that in a very smart way. And the spec is literally the first get-go. It narrows your revision. Literally just have a tunnel vision, and the spec is breaking everything down for you, topic by topic. So that is my first point, literally. The spec is very important. The spec alongside your revision and your textbook. Well, that was a lot. So my second point would be actually practicing the exam. So when I was in year 12 or year 13, like early year 13, some people weren't aware of the breakdown of the exam, what paper was what, and you need to know what paper is what paper. You need to know which one you're revising, what content goes where. Some people don't know that, and that is very, well, it's not embarrassing, but do better. Like literally, this is your exam, it's your grade, it's your name written on it. Like, know what goes where, and like just have that kind of like segment of like what different topics are and what you need to know for these different topics. So that is literally my second point. Just know what goes where, practice the papers, and just keep them in like compartments. Know the structure of the exam. Yeah, that is the key word. Know the structure of the exam. Yeah. Another point which I have is the power of repetition. And as much as people do say, oh, A-level is a memory game, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You just want to do well. So it is the power of repetition. I remember when I used to fill in my brows, for example, or while I got ready, while I was in the shower, while I was moisturizing, just while I was doing anything, I would have like my revision playing in the background. I would have like an analysis of Othello, for example, playing in the background. And while you do this often, it literally reinforces information in your head. Like, the reinforcement of information is so important, and going over things constantly really helps embed it into your head. And for me, that really worked for me. Literally repetition, having conversations with my friend who did the same topics. A-level is so content heavy, especially if you do humanities. It is really content heavy, and the best way to just sometimes get some things into your head is by repetition. And this could literally be through essay practice questions. So one thing that I also did as well is looking at like the exam board. So I used to go on the exam board's website and I'd look at the exemplar responses they gave. The website usually has like different boundaries of grades, so they usually give you grades that are like grade A, grade B, and grade C. And like I ranked them and I read them, and when you really read them, you can see like the difference in quality of the essays, and that really helped me, because sometimes I would be on the grade C essay and I would know this is where my writing level is at, and this is what I need to get to. This is what this person did that I probably am not doing or didn't do. And so I would then look at that. It doesn't mean like copying their essay style, because you have your own particular writing essay style, but I would look at it and see how I can write better, or where I need to strengthen my knowledge on. Revise topics that you're not so strong at, because if you're really good at a specific topic and you keep revising it, there is no point. You want to revise topics that you're not so strong at. Those questions that you find harder, those essay questions that you'll really find really challenging, you should probably do them. Do the harder questions. I know it sounds a bit silly, like why would I want to do the hard questions? But you need to do the hard questions, because nothing can take you by surprise. You're literally like, you're fearless, like no one can come for you. Once you've done every single questions that you might find hard, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And there's such power in repetition. As I said earlier, repeating, doing question, practice essays. The question, in a way, they start to morph into each other. That is something that I realized for philosophy especially, is the fact that I had done the exam questions to a certain level that regardless of how the question was worded, I knew how to answer it, or I knew a certain way to answer it. So there is literally power in repetition, observing, critiquing your work with that of other people, and seeing where you need room for improvement. There is no like standard, or like where you're like, oh, you have done enough revision. I don't think you can ever do enough revision, but you can prepare yourself very well for the exam. And if you can do that right now, you should probably be doing that. So yeah, the point I would make is in terms of revision. So different people have different revision methods and techniques, and mine is definitely just revising by myself and then revising with friends. So that really helps me, or finding like my local library. For example, like I had different libraries in my local area, and I knew the opening and closing times, and I'll literally be like, yeah, this library is open Monday to Friday from this time to this time. This is what I'm going to be. This is how many hours I'll be there. This is the break I'm going to take. And it's just knowing the spaces that work for you. If you can't revise at home, leave your house, go to the library, do your revision, go back home. There's no point in being, or even revising with friends, or being in a space that you know you can't get effective revision done. The average human attention span, I think, is 45 minutes. So I literally do intense revision for like 45 minutes to an hour, take 10 to 15 minute break if I can. And I talk to my friends for a bit, and I literally get back to it. And my friends were doing similar subjects to me as well, so we all knew the importance of like what we needed to do, and we really just took necessary breaks, spoke to ourselves in like important things we've covered. Oh, do you understand this? But I didn't understand this. You understand it better than I do. Do you want to tell me more about it? And just helping yourself out in that way, literally finding what way works best for you in terms of a revision. And if you know it doesn't work for you, there is no point in like continue to do it. Like libraries can be really good as well, and sometimes they can be quite disruptive, because some people really go to the library for a chat. Yeah, so find the best revision method or way for you. So just to summarize all of that, practice questions are really important. Get the specification, practice as much as you can, read widely, go beyond the specification, find the best revision tips or methods that work for you, and just really try to stay focused. Like, I am aware of the level of stress that some people might face during A-level times, and I literally faced these same stress as well, because I felt like I had more pressure, because I had started over from year 12 and I was retaking the year, and I really wanted to make the difference and really wanted to change my grades. If you don't start to commit and hold yourself accountable and responsible for your actions towards your revision, no one really can. So just hold yourself accountable. Accountability is so important. Motivation can be fleeting here and there, but disciplining, I hope that's a word, disciplining yourself just to ensure that you know this is only short term. This revision pain is only short term. As I always say, there's summer ahead of you. Like, it might seem a bit much more like intense right now, but I can assure you, like looking back like a year, 2 years maybe, it would be worth it. And sometimes literally working as hard as you can is way better than regret. I could have, I should have, I would have. While you have the time right now, you should probably do that right now, and like, it's way better than regret. So I really hope I've helped you in, I don't know, just telling you tips and tricks to really change your grades if you do want to change your grades. And yeah, if you have any more questions, leave them below in the comment section below. Yeah, and don't forget to like, subscribe, you know, more videos coming your way. If you want more topic specific revision, let me know. I will give whatever help I can. And just a quick one, so for English, I actually published some of my essays online. I'm going to put the link below. I had like a WordPress I did in like year 12 or year 13. I was very bored and I started to upload it online. So if you want to have a look at that, I have some fellow questions I have answered online with critics, AO1, AO2, AO3, you know, all that AOs embedded in there. And I did quite well in that paper, if I do say so myself. So go check it out.